Good morning. Welcome to the Code Talk Coffee and Blunts Morning Show. I'm your host, Victor Vinziant. I'm riding solo this morning. Happy New Year to you. And congratulations to all of the college football fans out there that watch their team win. to the other fans out there that are in mourning and grief. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see the A in the back. We took that fire L. Shout out to Michigan, operating on nothing but pure planning and execution and handling business. I don't like it, but I got to give props where it's due. Harbaugh is under a lot of scrutiny for a long period of time, I believe, and he finally had a chance to come through and you know make some stuff happen for his squad in his absence. They had a lot of stuff they had to overcome, as far as like cheating scandals and things of that nature. But you know, every everybody got to take their L too. You know what I'm saying? You win some, you lose some. The goal is to always be in the picture. And hey, man, it happens. It happens. But shout out to Washington, the Huskies, doing their thing too. You know what I'm saying? And getting a W and representing, you know what I'm saying, their brand of football. They are on their way to play Michigan. It should be a pretty good matchup. I think those teams are real solid in terms of the way they have uh, a lot of the same talent on both sides of the ball, and it should be a good matchup. I think the college football committee got it right. I know some people might disagree with that. I don't care. Like most of us don't care, but yet again, they got it right. You know, and they're gonna get two good teams that get matched up, and should be entertaining to watch for the college football fan. FSU fans still salty. I know y'all been playing around on my timeline and stuff, and that's cool. You know, uh, hey man, I don't know what to tell you. It's four slots, five conferences. Straight the schedule matters, and people want to see good football. So going out there and getting a 60 piece put on you don't doesn't do well for the argument for most situations. So you know, hey man, it's unfortunate, but nobody's exempt. That well, some people are exempt, but in this situation, when you don't go out there and you don't perform, everybody ain't everybody's not gonna see the same thing that everybody. Nobody's gonna have the same vision at the same time when it comes down to college football, especially when it comes down to a committee being in charge. So, um, with that being said, everybody's vision sees whatever they sees on the field, and I think college football in and out with the committee, I think it's been very very good. I think they've gotten it right for the most part, and you know, hey, what else can you expect? Some people don't like it. I get it. There's no problem with that. Hey, what's up, Rafi? How you doing? I ain't seen you in a long time, sir. Long time. I'm glad you was able to join the show and sit down and watch it. What else is going on this morning? Uh, what else we missed? The the nature of college football allows men across the spectrum to talk crazy to each other and potentially uh, be disrespectful with each other in a healthy way. You know, like instead of kicking the human being while they down, you get to kick the football team. But that's only from the spectator sport, only from the spectator aspect of it, and it's never anything personal. And with that being said, I had a couple of posts that I responded to this morning that was talking about, you know, uh, the ability to be petty in a healthy way. So just good banter. I think that's one of the best things. Like during football season, you get a lot of banter back and forth and dialogue and different perspectives on things. You know what I'm saying? And what people appreciate and what they don't. So when you get a chance to see people tell you why, you get to act on the dangerous need to be right, because you can say anything as a football fan, because as a fan of anything, you just watching, you're a spectator. So it's everything's open, everything's fair game. So when you get down to it, people get to really show how they feel about, or how nasty they can get by how they think. You know what I'm saying, and how petty they can be. That's the fun part about it. When it's done in a healthy way. You know, obviously, there's always going to be somebody that's going to take something too far. That's always the case. The best thing is that you hit it, that you have these conversations with play in places where people can respect with the other person. So, like, it's a lot of people that probably lost money on bets, probably broke up some relationships. You know what I'm saying, and ruined some expectations with each other. But it's been a good college football season, and as far as my team is concerned, I look forward to seeing how they develop after this, because they overachieved. Jalen Monroe and his team, they overachieved and they did well. And they won SEC when a few months ago we didn't know what they were doing. So it's some moments for growth, and sit back and see what they did right and what they can capitalize off of. Some, a revolving door of NFL talent is going to be hard to always try to keep those people that make it work. So, hey, good morning. I see y'all piling up into the chat. You know what I'm saying? Greatly appreciate y'all for showing up. Happy New Year to everybody again that's just now joining. Today we're gonna have a bit of a Q&A. So if you want to come on the show, I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link, and you come up here and air your grievances out. Tell me what you want to do. What would you like to see take place in 2024? I'm going to speak a little bit about AI and how we can use it going forward, and uh, you know, talking about using it to our advantage, because whether we know it or not, most of social media is ran by AI, and the user feeds the machine pretty much. For those of you that probably have seen, there's a show called Westworld. It's on HBO, um, and it talks about, well, it basically is a show about AI and developing, uh, symbiotic beings that pivot off of human engagement. That's the way social media works. That's why most of the time when your comments get flagged, it's not a person sitting behind the screen and say, let me block that person. Like, no, it's keyword searches. It's an algorithm. Everything operates on an algorithm. So that's the very reason why you get some things in your timeline and somebody else gets something else in their timeline, because it mimics the way that you engage with, your internet search history, and how you it targets advertisement. So that's why some people are going to see more of the same things in their timeline than not. If you follow a lot of people that, I don't know, maybe do fight videos or dance or something like that, algorithm is going to reflect the thing that you're interested in. So, man, the way all of this stuff works on autopilot, we have to work with it, and that's part of the reason for today's show, is that we're at a time where people about to get washed out, and not necessarily economically, because it's always the case too, but because we don't want to adapt, or we are resistant or reluctant, whatever word you want to use that reflects scarcity and using AI. We don't need to be scared of it, because we can't do anything to stop it, really. So we got to find out use it to our benefit. I watched this movie over the weekend called The Creator, and it's got John David Washington, and it's a pretty good movie, in terms of concept and what the message that it was sending across. And um, eventually they're going to be um, robots that operate in certain capacities that can handle service work, that can handle um, you know low skill labor, and we've been seeing this coming for the longest period of time. It's already going away from paper applications to even get jobs. It's already gone towards nothing but tablets and smartphones, and you have to have a skill. You almost can't live without the internet. And I remember times where people were reluctant to even embrace the internet. Some people didn't want an email address. They didn't see the need for it. And that time has come to pass that if you have been resistant to these things, at least have a lifestyle that's adjusted to what you don't want to participate in. But that's kind of hard to do, because as soon as you talk to people, or anyone in the customer service industry, first thing they tell you is go online. So if eventually you're going to have to go online to do something, because the people that you need um, help and assistance from and engagement from, or their expertise, they have to go online to be able to help you, because all of the resources are there now. So we've seen an evolution of technology and the way it influences the way people move throughout life. Down to your car, you have to download and upgrade your software in your car, depending on what you drive. Motorcycles, anything that takes gas requires either a card, a fob, an internet source, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We are completely wired to everything, and then that's even before you get to the cameras. I know I'm not saying anything that people don't understand, but I think we have to stop and reiterate sometimes that we are on a slope where we're gonna have to figure out how to have a conversation on using these tools, because they can work for us. We can put out a lot of good information and find a way to bring healthier dialogue to our respective networks, instead of just being used by everything. Um, the the landscape is changing. The landscape is changing. We have to embrace it. And when it comes down to AI, eventually it's going to be useful enough to teach off of. Because if it's useful enough to use, even in entertainment, even in the service industry, it's going to eventually have the impact where education is going to come from there. So we need to get educated on it. So I saw a Vice episode a few years ago where they were already using automated trucks. I think the episode came out in like 2018. So you got to imagine the technology is much older than the video I saw. And here we are, 6 years removed, and we have automated trucks on the road. We have cars that can do autopilot stuff. Um, the that eventually you're going to have a lot of delivery services that are going to start using drones, just like FedEx, DHL. Won't be any different. So, at what point do we say, I got to figure out how to use this? I got to figure out how to use this to my advantage. So, that's one of the things I wanted to catch up to. On another note, shifting gears real quick, we'll come back to that. How many of y'all still got your Christmas lights up? Type of one in the chat if you still got your Christmas lights up. All right, now, if you're going to leave them up until this Christmas, I appreciate you being proactive, But if you're going to, what I'm saying, just come on now. You're still turning them on. I seen some Christmas lights on this morning. It's January the 3rd. Come on, man. just at least don't go to bed with them on. So, but that's just the observation I had this morning when I went out to go get make my little run before the show. Let me take a second real quick. I want to also highlight the shirt that you need. Make sure that we are sharing the best stuff that we got to offer at the top of the year, the things that we work on, embrace our creativity, and encourage other people to do the same thing if they got a talent. You see that right there? Man, go cop you a shirt, man. Let me drop the link for that right now. You'll see it in the chat. Yeah, your cheek make you mad. My cheek make me a sandwich. Go cop the shirt. Go cop the shirt. If any of you guys out there have something you'd like to promote, it'd be a good time to hit me up. We can set something up and you come on here and you can promote your merch, whatever your talent is, your skill, and we go forward with that. Uh, this morning, when you think about where you are in the middle of the week, we already 3 days into the new year, in the middle of the week, and it'll be the weekend before you know it. And then for next time you see us, 2 weeks will have gone by. We will be in the middle of the second week. I didn't expect 2023 to go by as fast as it did, and none of us really did, because we are more in tune, more dialed in, because we have more obligations, because we have more at our disposal that we can use, more obligations that are kind of electronic, and we've got to the point now we get inundated, and then inundated with so much information and yet drowning in specifics. And that's why I picked AI as being the topic for the show, because I think we're at the point where you almost have to use it to offset what you got going on, especially if you want to accomplish something else. It's replacing um, a lot of function that you would rely on people to do, because um, I don't know if people are becoming more efficient. I think the ones that don't embrace the technology are not going to become efficient enough for you to work with, and that's kind of a hard pill to accept, because when you look at the difference between the people that's trying to accomplish something and those that say they want to accomplish something, what are they doing when they have that time to themselves? I do a lot of writing. Some people follow my page on social media. They see what I talk about and understand I've been writing to prove points. I've been writing to shape an assessment so we can figure out which group of people are going to be more receptive to each other versus being combative with each other. Because the main issue between human beings and what we relate to is like trying to become more like-minded. You have to find out what your basis is. What's the foundation of being like-minded? A lot of people's foundation is not on the same wavelength. It's just not. And so it's going to be difficult to work with everybody. Now I know when people say uh, things of that nature, they're talking about keeping a circle tight, cutting people off, and things of that nature. But we're at that point in history where really, truly, and physically and technologically, everybody just can't go, because they didn't embrace the last 3 or 4 phases of technology. They, you know, been resistant or reluctant to say, you know what, I need to figure out how to incorporate this into my life. And it might have been something as simple as an email. because people were resistant to the internet, and then you couldn't fight it. It was too late. And here we are again. Even the the industry of malls was changed by Amazon. Amazon used to be what drugstore.com, and even Walmart has had to. At what point the only competition for Walmart was Kmart, and the difference in those businesses being able to scale was how they embraced technology, how they embraced inventory, how they embraced tracking, and you had UPC codes, you had the barcode that was on certain packages allows them to order. Now you got QR codes that link you to everybody's got a click funnel, and if you don't know what a click funnel is, it's picture having 5 or 6 different skill sets, 5 or 6 different income streams, or passive income tools. So let's say if you got books, you got literature, you got content, consulting, coaching, and one person can do all of these different things. And then on top of that, once you get past that layer of it, that person also has some other skills that can be monetized. Well, you got to get them all in one spot. So that's why it's a click funnel. So you got services like Linktree, where you see link in bio. People have figured out how to monetize all of their content in one spot, or at least capture the person long enough to be able to show them, hey, I also offer this, I also offer that. Like, in general, most human beings that have a skill, you're talking to someone that basically has a bunch of tabs in their brain that's like Amazon. Like, you're not just looking at a human being anymore. You're looking at an evolved person that knows how to arrange things before they actually do it. And that mindset is completely different than those that choose to avoid it, because they understand now they have a different type of clarity. Some of us got a little touch of ADHD. You know what I'm saying? I know I do. I know I do. So the thought of AI being able to come in, being able to use it and integrate that takes a lot of pressure off of the many obligations that that may overwhelm me. So I'm looking for technology to come in and figure some stuff out for myself as well. But it's only as smart as the user, and until it's smarter than the user, until it can predict or know what to do in advance. And then that goes back to what everybody's uh, universal understanding is that uh, we're in a time where Terminator 2, what I'm saying, where Skynet is active. We done talked about the Matrix. We done talked about a lot of different ways that art and entertainment are showing us what's taking place, even down to the conflicts that happen overseas. We're in the middle of history repeating itself because relationships with the relationships are on foundations that always have to be renegotiated. There's some elements in life that always have to have a period of redemption. So you make a deal in 1980, you got to revisit that deal in 2020 because inflation changes the dynamics. You have to revisit, the decisions that you were making when you were younger versus now. And that's why you could look back and say, man, come a long way. When we look forward from now, 20 years from now, what does it look like with AI in the picture? You know, is it like from a healthy mindset, from a healthy place? Do you see yourself being able to use AI to improve what you got going on in your personal life? As far as the admin is concerned, because we all have admin that we need to do. And there's a bunch of tools that's out there. So I want to talk to people that's already using AI, and we could do another show on this. But I wanted to at least broach the topic, see what you guys think. and see how we can have better conversations about the use of AI. So we're not sitting back and saying, man, we missed the boat. Like there's been quite a few different wealth exchanges that have taken place based on economics in the last 4 or 5 years too. And AI was part of that. So we we have a good opportunity to stay abreast with a lot of these different things that happen in the wealth exchange, because money's getting made everywhere. AI is a tool that can be used to go find where money is being made too, instead of being forced to create something. Because some people may be smarter at finding things that are already working, and if you can create something, we need to be working together to create an algorithm that we can all benefit from, because that's where the gold mine is. Because it's going to go do the dirty work while you sleep. You need something that works for you in your sleep, and that's what passive income is, and that's what financial freedom is about. Um, the the upside to it is that you're going to get less and less of the negative human engagement. Like you get right to the direct information. We don't have to worry about somebody putting an opinionated spin on it. AI is tapped into a lot of credible sources, depending on whatever the back end looks like. But there's also a significant risk with that, depending on how independent AI is going to be able to be allowed to be. So, because you can get private companies that's got a lot of money, more flexibility, and they can do their own thing and can pretty much operate in an autonomous way. So, there's already been plenty of social media videos on social media that show that even TikTok has a different algorithm in different countries, and rightfully so, because you wouldn't expect to go to a different country and using their IP addresses and and everything, and get the same general feedback in your timeline or however you set up in a different country than you would in your home country. So eventually, because this is how brands advertise to you. This is how uh, the the targeting is done to figure out what a next gold mine of information is. Because being able to monetize what people search for and think about is just highly profitable. Then the next thing you're getting into is software, protecting it, licensing, and it's a lot of other spinoffs too. But I want to talk to some people that's smarter than me about this, because this is just what I think. I don't think I know everything. I just know what I see, and I have some good guesses. But by the time they probably get off this phone or get off of this podcast, something else will change. Something else will change, and everything I said would be completely old. And so years from now, when we look back and say, "Man, where did we miss the boat?" We got a chance to have a conversation now, because this isn't like what crypto was a couple years ago. The housing market has changed. There's still opportunity to make money for sure, but it's not the upsell that it was when you had the short-term rental market, being woven into. Now's the time to build, buy and hold, and sit back and wait, because a lot of things are going to get ready to go back on sale. And if you got an asset, you might have significant opportunity to cash your chips in and go make a play somewhere. So when you get ready to make the next play in your life, how are you going to do it? I wrote and published my first book, The Code, back in 2018. And this book had basically a lot of questions that I would ask on social media, and, loosely formed opinions around questions, and presenting dialogue, producing, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Topics. There was nothing that was complete. There's some things in there that's absolute. When it comes down to behavior, you either behave it in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. And since the first book, a lot has changed in 6 years. And multiple mindsets and trying to create like-minded communities have to happen with safe people if you want it to last. You have to do it with people that want to make money together. You have to do, but you have to make money with trustworthy people for it to be sustainable. Where the distinctions between it, who's trustworthy and who's not, we have to evaluate them from moment to moment. So the we just have to make the adjustment just as quick as the technology makes adjustments off of the people that use it. So what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? What are we? And the people I believe that's going to benefit the most are the folks that can figure out how to use AI. And then when it comes down to who can we work with and how we using technology, you got to figure out the discipline of the people that wants to use the technology. Hang on a second. And we got a lot of different tools, and there's a lot of people with a lot of skills that they've gotten over time just as entrepreneurs. And as an entrepreneur, you're kind of forced to consider the way you're going to use the AI, the way you're going to use information to make the back end of your business more successful. More successful. I'm currently doing that now, and it's a learning process. Needless to say, it's something that I have a good idea how to use, but I have to mold it to what I got to customize it for me, because just like you got a routine, you have to establish a need and a purpose for whatever it is that you're doing. Or else you just got a really expensive tool, or maybe you got a tool that you don't have enough information on, how enough creativity on how to use it the best way possible. Because you got to think, man, most places operate that way. They operate off of you know predictions. Like Las Vegas is all of the entire sports betting industry has predictions off of numbers, because life is math. Life is math. I know people say, man, we went to school and learned how to do all of this different math and we don't never use it. Yes, you do. Use it all the time. There's numbers everywhere. You got a number on every single thing. You have the either 15 minutes early, 15 minutes late, right on time, traffic impacts you, uh, dates, times, appointments. There's numbers everywhere. And whether you are sitting down calculating the temperature and the speed in which you want to travel, and like whether you're doing it actively and writing it down, versus your brain is already accounting for, well, traffic, weather, other responsibilities that may or may impact or influence the decisions that you already have to make. There's a lot of things that you already account for. When you think about the word account, is because you are running software in the background in your brain that accounts for your decision making. The decision making you have is either going to be disciplined decision making or undisciplined decision making. The the integration of AI is going to be able to separate that group of people, because again, we're at a point in time where human beings have um, are not exempt from obsolescence. Obsolescence, for those that don't know, it's like when you got that old iPhone or the old Android phone that you can't even update anymore because there's no security software for it. And all it does, and you probably still use it, but you got some limitations with it. You probably can't use the internet as fast on a 3G based phone if it works at all. You probably can't uh, use it with some of your other apps that may have to plug into a computer to use. The the power the AI is going to restrict that a lot more. It's definitely going to restrict that even you know. So we have to figure out how are we going to adapt to it, and what does it look like when we do. What does it look like when we do adapt to it? What if you can use it the way it's supposed to be used? So let's see what we got going on this morning. There's no little light in the comments today. It's the first day back to work for the new year for a lot of people, and I didn't want to keep a long show this morning because I'm flying solo. I don't want to bore you guys, but I appreciate you for even showing up. The the way that we see ourselves is changing, and it's harder and harder to convince. You know, it's harder. It's getting harder for certain people to convince others that they understand what they're doing. Yeah, and it's playing out. It is playing out. Even everybody's coming to a new degree of acceptance about people, and the same companies that were replacing human beings with robotics when it came down to cars. Those that were fighting against it even have to accept it too, because they had to look at it and say, "Man, we just not." I Welders cannot out weld by hand better than a robot. The robot is not going to call in sick. The robot is not going to fight the other robots. Well, it could in the future, but that's just the efficiency of robotics has changed the way production. And when you change production, you start looking at what's cost effective and what's not. So technology has always found a way to reduce the human error. It's learned a lot from humans already to figure out how to offset these things. And that's why they are like apps. Like apps were a big deal. Now you don't even think about it anymore. It's just part of who you are. You got to download this app and you know and use it. To do this and think about how many times you used a digital signature app on the go. Things are getting done very quickly now. From your thumbs, even over social media, all the way across the board. Even the way that we talk about sports, even the way that we discuss strategies to make more money. Now you have to be invested in the use in the intelligent use of technology, not just using technology. You have to be invested in the use of it. So know why you're using it versus just scrolling on your phone. Like think about it, right? Let's say if you've been on social media, like the majority of us have been on for multiple years. What are you doing in 2024 with social media that that's going to be any different than the previous 10 years you might have been using it? How are you going to use your network that you've developed on social media, the ones that you participate in, to monetize it and work with those people, because the truth is most of us have communicated with people on social media more than we communicate with the neighbors that we live next door with. A lot of us have better relationships on whatever respective platform than we do with some of our own family members and some of our own friends, or people that we given, the designation as friends, but their behavior don't say friendship. Their behavior says risk. And of course, you can always have threats where people can get scammed online and all of these different ways, that unsafe ways where untrustworthy people can always find their way in. But untrustworthy people already exist in our own space. Hey, good morning. I appreciate you, Angie. Hey, you can also send stars to the platform just like Angie did. Thank you very much, and your donation is very much appreciated. Platform is monetized. You know what I'm saying? So hit your boy up, drop some stars, drop some questions. You know what I'm saying? So we can exchange some information, and give people something that they can benefit from, instead of just coming out here looking at memes and spreading ill will towards people. That is what we should be doing. We got too many tools to connect to the people that we want. We find we are connecting now with people that reflect the way that we think. Because otherwise, why would you be here? Why would you be here? Why would you put yourself in defensive spaces? And the truth is, everybody's want to learn something else, because we have gotten into the world as far as we can get based on the way that we were raised. Now we got to go further than that based on the information that we exchange and how we use it. So we have to understand that, yeah, you can do a lot of things on your own. But in 2024 going forward, I'm not doing everything by myself. I want to work with people that are experts in their lane, and it adds value to what I'm doing. Maybe take the things that I'm discussing in a healthier direction that I don't know anything about, and I can do the same for them. Because a network doesn't work if it doesn't exchange. It has to have some transactional relationships within that, and some of them have to be just based on nothing but principle, not feel good stuff. Feel good. I'd rather do feel good stuff with people that I trust. Rather do feel good stuff with people that I trust. And as far as and then that's an enduring goal. Like, if you're not having fun with the people that you're supposed to trust, you probably shouldn't be doing certain things with them anymore. Like, we get those revelations daily, and I'm not exempt from it. None of us are, because we don't know when to break things off sometimes, or we do, and we're just too invested, and you got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But we can't waste any more time with those things, and it's happening a whole lot faster than what we want to accept. Whole lot faster. And then once you separate from those things, you're gonna be able to see why you were connected with them. You're gonna be able to see why they were connected with you, and for what reason. That's the most important part, is the understanding. Because if you end it prematurely, um, the residue can always, have a long term effect too. But if you stay too long, it can do the same thing. So timing is very, very important. Timing is very important. And sometimes you just meant to stay long enough to get a lesson out of it. Sometimes it's got to cost something. You got to trade something else. It was for what? If you don't make it make sense, then it's just going to repeat itself somewhere else. All you need to do is make sure that you're looking for the lesson in it. You got to look for the lesson in what you're talking about. You got to, you know, if otherwise you're just creating unnecessary trauma for yourself. And it takes a loss to get a loss to get a lesson sometimes. sometimes you don't have another example around you that can show you what to avoid and not. Sometimes all you got is instincts, but sometimes you don't have enough examples to know what type of decisions you need to make. You know, and yeah, shout out, man. Hey, what's up, Reese? Yeah, what you're saying makes sense. So much sense, but it's a huge pill to swallow. It is. It is the only pill left, the reality pill. You know, everybody been talking about red pill, blue pill, whatever pill it is. Whatever the color you choose, it's it's up to you to decide you need to take it or not. We got to stop arguing about symptoms. Most people that you are in a conflict with, you're looking at the symptom. The problem is the person's upbringing. The problem is it's the person's morals. It's not just the surface individual. All of us are not the same. We might resemble each other in some ways, but just like this whole gender war thing that's been ongoing for like the last 3 or 4 years at the height of it, and now going into 2024, if you're still beefing with people that you was beefing with in 2023, you are not going to be helpful to yourself. You're being controlled by someone if you are still beefing with someone from 2 years ago. You're being controlled by them, and they are being controlled by you too. You both manipulating each other, because if you don't believe that those people are healthy for you, how come you can't connect to people that are healthy for you? If you're smart enough to know the value in the beef, when are you gonna be smart enough to know the value in people that solve problems? That's why I say solutions only is the motto for 2024. Solutions only, and when you get down into like what my man Reese just said, um, being a huge pill to swallow. If if you got to, sometimes you got to do something that's just uncomfortable, and that's admitting where you could have done something better or done something different or stayed too long or should have cut yourself away. It's got to be solutions only. And in the worst case scenario, man, like watching Walking Dead again got me thinking, like, you got to be willing to amputate. You got to be willing to cut something off, and you know what I'm saying, and have a tourniquet on it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to make a decision that goes against your older principles and morals, because that person's that person didn't waste any time violating you. So at what point are you going to take those actions into consideration and say, what are they saying to me? What are they saying about me? What type of what do their actions say about how they feel? What is their response to, you know when they know they've been abusive, and they know they've been manipulative. They know they've been, like, these are the threats, the boundaries. And from that, how do you ask the healthy version of those questions so you can be under someone else's guidance and mentorship? Because we gotta figure out who we can learn from too, because there's so many devices that are learning from us. Everybody has all look. We've been using all of us been using smartphones, and all of us have had a moment where you say, "I think my phone is listening to me. I think it's reading my mind. I think it's doing this. I think it's doing that." And we've all seen that, that shift in your algorithm when somebody that you're connected with online looks at a particular item or a particular type of video or trend or something like that. Now it's in your algorithm, and you and this person are geographically in two different time zones with thousands of miles between. But all of a sudden, the thing that interests them is now in your timeline. What does that say? These are the questions that you have to ask. These are the considerations that have to be, considered. So think about how dynamic your thinking has to be as an adult when you're using this technology, because it just went from, some people used to say it's just Facebook. I said no, it's not. It's not. Our use of it is feed. Everything we use feeds something. It's some Every piece of technology learns from the user. It has to, in order to stay ahead of the user. Because if the technology is not as efficient as the user, then it's not useful. So we have to become more useful to each other so we know how to use technology in a healthy way. I say that a lot. I'm going to say healthy, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to it, because we, we make a lot of things way harder than it should be. Way harder than it should be. And, and we can't overlook it because we're complaining about people and people not being accountable or being lazy or being inefficient, right? And then we go to a store like Walmart and we complain about using self checkout, but we don't want to deal with people that have dangerous attitudes either. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we crying about? What are we doing? What are we doing? If we don't want to deal with the dangerous people or the toxic people or the unhelpful people, and we got self checkout and everything else to offset that, and then we complain about that. And if you're not going to, what are you going to step in and do to create the thing that you say you really want? Or are we just complaining? Complaints don't solve anything. What is the solution? Because you can't change other people. Other people have to change themselves first. So the bad customer service aspect of it, from the human idea, the only thing you do is groom and shape the people that you're responsible for as far as your children are concerned, and that's all you can do. And you hope that other people do the same thing with their kids. But we also know that that is unrealistic. I mean, it's a novel concept, and if it happens, yeah, I'm sure it does happen in most places. But like in the places where it doesn't happen, you can't do anything about that because there's a lot of variables that go into that person that you're seeing is a finished product of a culture in which it was raised. You're going to be arguing with a symptom. The problem is not knowing how they got to that spot. And that's where all of the hard pills exist. That's where you start deconstructing who mothered or raised or mentored this particular person, or did they have any of that at all? What's the origin story of that person and how they were raised? That will tell you why they make the decisions that they make. Human beings are not as hard to deconstruct as we think. Yeah, because on the surface of it, you got what appears to be somebody that's functioning the right way. But we all have traumas, we all have different interests, and we all have different goals and different pre-planned outcomes. And even if we do have those things, there's still a lot of other human trauma that can impact even a disciplined person getting to where they're going. Undisciplined people, you know, they don't think the same way as disciplined people. They don't make the same decisions with their time as disciplined and undisciplined people make different decisions when they have time to themselves. Some need a little bit more uh, guidance, hands-on, micromanagement. Some people embrace that and they know they need it, but the ones that need it and don't know they and don't want to accept it because for whatever ego reason it might be, or however it's like packaged, those people gonna get washed out. It's just it. If you can't embrace correction, you're gonna less likely be in situations where uh, there's an option for protection. Because if you can't protect yourself, nobody is gonna come protect you. If you can't correct yourself, nobody's gonna come protect you. That's why I say we all out here on our own. Ain't nobody coming to save you. So AI is gonna be very profitable for because it's gonna leverage people that can't correct themselves. It's gonna leverage people that are resistant and reluctant to embrace something, because if you can walk away and not pay it any attention, that's fine. You're still gonna get used by it. It's still gonna use you. It's still gonna market to you. It's still going to shape your community and the people around you. That's why even when social media came out, it wasn't just social media. It's been collecting information and knowing how to target human beings better with whatever it might be. It's going to be something that caters to your interest. So the notion that we can work around this or not use it or avoid it, you just can't. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do when it's going to be your time to make a major decision in your life, and you're going to have to work with the technology that's out there? So many more things are just a lot more digitized than what we can even fathom. Like, we used to have photo albums. We used to have CD books on the passenger seat, flipping through it, driving one hand. Then you had disc changers, MP3 players, you name it. USB ports, you name it. The aux cord. Now, it's all in here. All in here. Reduced. And they keep making the phone that they shoot. And the phone got rid of, made the laptop almost obsolete. All but obsolete in terms of being practical. It's still, laptops are still plenty of use for them, but the phone costs more than a lot of laptops now. That ought to tell you something, because they found a way to integrate everything that you would need on a computer into your phone. And then they found a way to make apps replace services that people used to do and have major offices to do it from. AI is changing even the way legal situations get handled, because it can read and process information a lot faster and more efficiently. Should you still have to consult a lawyer? Yeah. But eventually your lawyer is going to get smart enough to use AI too. It's going to happen. We're already here. We're at the top of the hour. And I want you guys to take everything I was saying into consideration. I don't want to keep anybody too long. AI was just one of the first points of the year that I wanted to bring up. And we're going to have a much more in-depth conversation about this as people start inboxing and hitting me up with feedback. We're going to get a lot going on. We want to take advantage of 2024, and it's a solutions only campaign. Solutions only, baby. That's it. So let me also let me direct you guys to go to the store and go check out the website. Hang on a second, let me share this screen before I get out of here. Yeah, go shop the Accountable Masculinity brand store. Yeah, you know, got the Valor and Victory hats, uh, shirts, and more importantly, you see that book right there? Yeah, you know it. That's the code. You can go cop that. It's on Amazon too. So we have to support each other if we want to win, and this is how it happens. We invest in those that invest in themselves and work with people that care about people. So the only way that this works is we have healthy exchanges, good ideas. We can't make money. We got to make money with people that we can trust. We got to build relationships with people that care about relationships, not the transaction. They care about the relationship. It's easy to overcome when you got good, solid trust with people. So I greatly appreciate y'all tuning in, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week. And also, this evening is the Code Talk Evening Show, and let me pull up the link for that real quick, and I want to drop that in the chat so you guys can be ready to tune in for this evening show with Antoine. And he had some questions. He wanted to find out, is the Black community done? That was Antoine's question. And we're going to discuss that this evening. I'm dropping the link right now. And you guys go ahead and subscribe to that and follow that this evening. And we should have a very good show. And Antoine has a lot of questions that I look forward to answering for him. And I would greatly appreciate you guys giving some feedback as well. With that being said, solutions only. Happy New Year.
Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and hit the like button and follow. Please leave your feedback in the comments. Make sure you hit up the super chat, leave a donation to support the platform. Yo chick make you mad, my chick make me a sandwich. Yo chick make you mad, my chick make me a sandwich. Go cop the shirt, visit the merch store, shop with Accountable Masculinity, and support the platform. Men have hope.